offer fruit and shade like the day. May this marriage be full of laughter, for every day a day in paradise. May this marriage be a sign of compassion, a seal of happiness. Here and hereafter. May this marriage have a fair face and a good name, and woman as welcomes the moon in a clear blue sky. I am not of words to describe how spirit mingles in this marriage. Where are we? What the hell is going on? The dust has only just begun to form. Crop circles in the carpet, singing, feeling. Spin me round again and rub my eyes. This can't be happening when busy streets are mess with people who stop to hold their heads heavy. Islands trains are soaring crashes.
Good morning and welcome home to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Joanna and my pronouns are she, her. Thank you for joining us. We who bring a teaching of hope, we who bring a saving message, who welcome all in our doors, atheists and Hindus, Christians and pagans, straight, gay, lesbian and bisexual, cisgender, transgender, and non-binary and intersex, all who are searching, seeking, looking for more meaning, more service, more love. All of us gathered here together. I'd like to invite you right now to put your phone on what I call the worship mode. That means it's not going to make any sounds, but you are still free to post on social media things that you hear today, maybe some of the music or other things that are going on, to give those who can't be with us a little bit of this experience and maybe even an invitation for them to join you here next week. Would you please rise now, either in body or in spirit, and join us in singing "We Gather Together," and please remain standing for our chalice sliding.
Stay standing. Thank you. Our chalice today is being lit by Rosie. This is a congregation bound not by creed, but by covenant. May those in agreement affirm our church covenant together now. We affirm a caring community of and for all ages, seeking wisdom, doing service, and living with integrity. In our diversity, our covenant holds us in unity as we celebrate our shared spiritual journey. Good morning. My name is Mark Williams. My pronouns are he, him, and I am your volunteer worship leader today. One thing I particularly love about Live Oak is what each individual one of us can do to make a difference. Quick story, last week the new Enriching Connections meeting met. We talked about in-group communication, and who of you knew what a narthex was before you joined? Anyone? So we decided that narthex was not a great name for the area right outside the door, and Tim took that to the executive committee on Wednesday, and it's now called the Welcome Center. So my point is that each of you, if you see something that bothers you, bring it up and let's try and make things better, especially for welcoming our new visitors. And in that spirit, I'd like to welcome our guests. Thank you for coming and taking a chance, coming through our doors and joining us for worship. If this is your first time, please stop by the visitors table in the Welcome Center so we can meet you and answer your questions that you might have. This is a church that's buzzing 7 days a week. The definitive way to keep up with what's happening is through our weekly email newsletter, and you can sign up for it at the visitors table in the Welcome Center. Live Oak UU has many ways for you to connect with our beloved community beyond Sunday. Opportunities are shared on our website or in the newsletter. One event happening this week is the Thanksgiving potluck at noon on Thursday. Come and gather in community and gratitude. There will be pies. Yay, that's right. Today's opening words come from Where is the Love by the Black Eyed Peas. That's right. Okay, good. But if you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate. And to discriminate only generates hate. When you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Madness is what you demonstrate. And that's exactly how anger works and operates. You gotta love to set it straight. Take control of your mind and meditate. Let your soul gravitate to the love, y'all.
Today is a special day in the life of our congregation. We are being transformed as we welcome new members who are going to bring new ideas, new desires, new energies, and new opportunities to us. And I will invite Melissa to come forward to help me with this. And we are going to share our ideas, desires, energies, and projects with them. Our covenant securely grounds us, but it also resonates with new life. As George Kimmel Beach put it, people don't join a covenanted community, rather they constitute it. There is no it without them. And each time that new folks join, the whole is literally reconstituted.
Good morning, my name is Melissa Zaratny. My pronouns are she, her. I would like to invite each of the following people who have completed all the necessary requirements to become a member of the Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. It is with joy that I invite up onto the chancel Jen Clark, Melinda Grayson, Luann Hoffman, Carolyn Martin, Tracy Willis, and Linda Funderburg.
Today, the identity of all members, old and new, is changing. This congregation gets a new identity because you change us. We are now your church. And you change because you now add a member of Live Oak to who you are. Simply put, with these promises we make to each other, you become ours and we become yours. Will the members of the congregation please rise in body or in spirit and join me in our words of commitment? We, the members of Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church, welcome you into membership. We promise to walk along with you in your spiritual journey, to work together with you to strengthen this liberal and to make our vision for a just and peaceful world come alive. And will our new members please say your words?
We pledge with our hands and hearts to contribute to the common good of this liberal religious community, and to join in the spirit of love, reason, and freedom that we find here. We join you in the mission to embrace joy, enrich connections, encourage growth, and empower dreams.
Be sure to greet our new members and get to know them. There will also be some write-ups in our newsletter about them.
Let us welcome these new members into our fold. Let us give them the best of our tradition, who we have been and who we are today. But let us also open up ourselves to the ways in which they are going to teach and transform us and share in the construction of the community that together we are becoming. Neither churches nor their members are perfect. If you hang around here long enough, one of two things, and possibly both, may happen to you. Eventually, the church may disappoint you may disappoint the church. A time may come when we fail to act or respond to something that you are sure we should have. And a time may come when you can't do something that the church asks of you. And it's not that what happened isn't important. It is. That's why we have good, healthy, direct communication about them. But what's most important is what happens next. As long as we live in covenanted community, seeking right relationship, our commitment to each other will be strengthened, and we will grow as individuals and as a healthy community.
We have a gift bag for each family. Inside your gift bag, you will find a small chalice. At Live Oak, it is important that what happens here does not stay here. We hope that you will find ways to keep the chalice burning bright in your home and in your hearts. Please exit the stage to your right. The rest of us will give heartfelt applause.
Each Sunday, when we gather as a congregation, we bring our joys and sorrows with us into this room. When we ask for remembrance or celebration or prayer or thoughts, we make of this sanctuary a sacred circle. And Eileen Berkew shares, I got into my dream college, RIT. In a little less than a year, I'll be studying to become a software engineer up in New York. Also, I'm glad I have Nick helping with the live stream. For those of you who don't know, Eileen is also the head of our AV team and trains anyone who is going to learn how to work any of it, and she would like some more people to train. Hint, hint. And C.T. Goss shares, proud of Henley for earning a spot on the roller derby charter team and playing in her first full contact game yesterday. Laura Chifchi shares, I am overjoyed and grateful to welcome my amazing, unique son, Alexander, home. And Lindy and Bill Dower share, today's our 45th wedding anniversary. The adventure continues. For all joys and sorrows, spoken and unspoken, we bear witness with our care and concern.
Please rise as you are willing and able for the hymn, Bread of Heaven.
Steadfast courage, guide my
Our reading today is from Gate A4 by Naomi Shahab Nai. Wandering around the Albuquerque airport terminal, after learning my flight had been delayed for 4 hours, I heard an announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of Gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate A4 was my own gate. I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian embroidered dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing. "Help!" the flight attendant said. "Talk to her. What was her problem? We just told her the flight was going to be late, and she did this." I stooped and put my arm around the woman and spoke haltingly. Shubid uk ibiti stani shwe min fadlik shubit sewi. The minute she heard any word she knew, even poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for a major medical appointment the next day. I said, no, we're fine. You'll get there. Just later. Who's picking you up? Let's call him. So we called her son. I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane, and I would ride right next to her. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons, just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic and found out, of course, they had friends in common. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took up to 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling of her life, patting my knee, answering questions. She had pulled out a sack of homemade mamoul cookies, little powdered sugar crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts from her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo, we were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. And then the airline broke out free apple juice from huge coolers, and 2 little girls from our flight ran around serving it. And they were covered in powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend, we were holding hands, had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with green furry leaves. Such an old country tradition. Always carry a plant. Always stay rooted somewhere. And I looked around at that gate of late and weary ones, and I thought, this is the world I want to live in. The shared world. Not a single person in that gate, once the crying of the confusion stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost.
So today, as you may have surmised, is our annual Feast of Bread and Cider. This is an annual tradition here at Live Oak, as well as in many other UU congregations. The symbolism of it is, we are bringing a bread from our heritage or something significant to our family. Yes, it can be hot dog buns from H-E-B. We get to all decide what is significant to us. But it's this idea that each of us as individuals, when we come together into this community, we are bringing not only our lifetime, but the lifetimes that came before us and that shaped us. We bring them into this community, and then we feed each other with our experiences and our worldviews. And so the whole community is enriched by that. And so what we do today is symbolic of that. And it's also important that when we bring these individual loaves forward, because we have so many different kinds, we make then an entire feast. It is not something done by just one person, right? I've been thinking, though, this week about how this is also an opportunity for us to nurture each other. Nurture, the word comes from the same etymology as nutrition. It's a Latin word, nutrire. And originally it was used to refer to specifically like children, feeding or nursing children. Gradually it began being used as, again, with children, but like how you raised the children. And then it was when Mary Wollstonecraft wrote A Vindication on the Rights of Women. She took that same word, nurture, to talk about the idea of nurturing something in a figurative way, some sort of concept, something in community. She wrote, public spirit must be nurtured by private virtue. And etymologists say, okay, and that's when we then began using it in the way that we still do, as a way of talking about developing something. And that's what we do in this community too. We nurture each other through love, but also we are nurturing each other to help each one of us, children and adults, become the people who we want to be. And it can happen in a very sort of structured way, like in our adult education faith development classes or our children's classes. But so often I find it happens when people are just in conversation with each other. They'll hear an idea, and what's interesting is you don't always know it right at the time, right? Has anyone ever been in that situation where you hear someone say an idea, and at first, like, you're just like, and then, like, it stays with you, and it won't leave you alone, and finally, at a certain point, you're like, oh, actually, I think they were right. I think I do believe that. We change. We change each other. It is literally in the mission of this church that we encourage growth. We are all helping each other grow up, no matter our ages. We are all nurturing each other into what we become. I think during this next year, 4 years. I can only look ahead a little bit at a time, y'all. I think that this might be something that could be life-giving to us to keep coming back to this idea of nurture and nurturing other people. And not only in big, grand ways, but in little things like taking a coffee to your coworker, bringing some cookies to a friend, offering someone who you know has been having a rough week. Hey, you want me to watch your kids, this Friday? You can go out and do something, or maybe just take a nap. It could be interesting if we as a congregation come back to this conversation about what are ways, small and large, that we can nurture each other and the people that we care about. I know from being on the receiving end, when you are going through something hard, our staff, music director and Chris and our administrator, when I was going through the death of my sister earlier this year, they made this beautiful gift basket for me with lots of bottles of water, Those who know me know if you're going through a crisis, all these years of ministry and seminary and all that, and what you're going to get from me is, are you drinking enough water? So several bottles of water and a cozy blanket and some snacks and some other things. And it was so meaningful. They were nurturing me. How might we nurture each other? Because here's the other thing. Going through whatever it is we're going to go through, I know that we are already feeling helpless and scared, and sometimes doing something loving. It can be such a gift, not only to the other person, but to us, to remind us that we are not helpless, and we are part of a community, and together we will survive. I invite you to join me for a moment of reflection in words and in silence. Maybe make yourself a little bit more comfortable. And if it helps you to go inward, you may want to close your eyes. We still find ourselves with so much that is unknown, so much that may be scary, so much that may still make us angry or confused. A way that we can get our bearings, a way that we can find our center, is by being reminded that we are a part of a community. Not only the community within these walls, but the larger communities, the people who share our values, our loved ones, our friends. Within that, we have power to nurture each other so that each person has the experience of being cared for. The more we do that, the more we may allow that circle to widen, to bring others in, to be part of a community and a worldview of hope and possibility and optimism and nurture. Let's hold that for a moment in silence. Amen, and blessed be.
We are the tradition of the Free Church. Our church and our community outreach are supported not from an outside source, but from within. We invite you to make a financial contribution to help sustain this church's vital work, knowing that every gift, large and small, is appreciated and carefully used in service to our mission. The QR code or text information for donations is available at the back of the chairs and the seat pockets. And if you'd like to donate by credit card, Apple or Google Pay, someone from the Stewardship Committee can assist you near the kitchen after the service in the Welcome Center. Stewardship of this church takes many forms, and all of them are gifts. Gifts of money, gifts of time, gifts of service. Reverend Joanna will now present the Rose of Recognition to one of our members.
The Rose of Recognition is a Texas UU tradition in which we show our appreciation for a volunteer who has shown exemplary service to the church. We are lucky to have a congregation filled with talented members who consistently give their time and talent to making this the beautiful and vibrant church we enjoy. For her work keeping us connected with the Texas UU Justice Network, we now ask Lindy Dower to come forward. On behalf of Live Oak UU Church, it is my honor to present you with a rose and to publicly show appreciation for all of the time and energy you spent educating us and delivering the calls to action for how we could bring our weight to bear on the arc of the universe here in Texas. And now, will the congregation please join me in saying, thank you.
Your financial gifts allow us to continue this kind of good work. As the ushers come forward to receive the offering, I invite you to say with me these words. We are building beloved community with our labor and our treasures. With gratitude, we receive the offering. May it help us to fulfill our mission in the world.
So what's going to happen is you're going to come forward twice. First, you're going to come forward to bring your bread, and I'll be explaining that in a moment. Then you'll go back to your seats, and then after all the bread has been brought forward, everyone, even if you didn't bring bread, that's okay, will be invited to come forward to load up, and then you'll take that back to your seats as well. And I would like to ask my helpers if you would come forward now and take your stations at the table, my cider pourers and bread cutters. We are a gathered community, a blending of many traditions. We invite those with bread to come forward a row at a time. Please bring forth your bread and tell us your name, a little bit about the bread's origins or importance. And if you have gluten-free bread, if you would bring it down to this end, down by the cider. After that, you can place your bread on the table where our helpers will cut it and put it on trays for distribution after all of the bread has been brought forward. And I will get us started. So I'm Reverend Joanna, and this is gluten-free cornbread, which is a tradition. My family is, I'm a seventh-generation Texan. This is a big part of our tradition. I am still using my grandmother's cast iron skillet to make it.
Hi, my name is Mary Doherty. This is my daughter, Rosie. And we have Irish heritage in our household, so we decided to make some Irish soda bread. And
it's blue.
No, just the bowl. So one thing that's interesting about it is it doesn't contain yeast. There's baking soda, and it's activated by buttermilk. So that's kind of interesting about that. But this was our first time to try this recipe, so it might not be perfect, but it was made with love, and we love baking together, so really enjoyed trying out this recipe, so hope you like it.
Hi, so I read this morning that the bread service is today, and I thought that it would be really, really nice to make a really delicious banana bread in honor of my dad, because he loves bananas, because my family really doesn't have much of a bread tradition. We have more of a cake tradition. So as I decided that in my head, obviously there wasn't time, so H-E-B to the rescue, right? So go to H-E-B. They don't have banana bread, but I did find jalapeno cheese bread, which... Like Reverend Joanna, I'm also a seventh-generation Texan, and I know my mom's family, I think over time they're cooking infused with jalapenos and salsa, so there you have it. It does say made from scratch.
So I wish I could make my grandmother's sky-high biscuits that she made for my lumberjack grandfather. But alas, the recipe was lost, and she forgot how to make it years after he had passed. But this morning, in my harried morning, I dropped by Round Rock Donuts, and they gave me a half dozen donuts I didn't order. And when I tried to give them back, they said, no, that's a gift. So I'm regifting, and I would suggest that there is no better bread than a gift, a bread that is gifted.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and I have not eaten gluten knowingly for 20 years about, and I love bread. And when you go gluten-free, that becomes a challenge. Back in those days, there really was very few. There were things that were like resembled bricks and doorstops and things that were considered loaves of bread. Thankfully, that has changed. I did not bake this bread, but I've been on a quest for all this time to find some wonderful bread. And I'm fortunate to have located a couple of vendors at 2 different farmers markets that make, in their homes and with love, these beautiful breads. And I have this loaf that is, to me, it's just adorable little beautiful multi-grain loaf that's multi-grain except no wheat or none of the other gluten-containing grains, and it's really delicious. And I've already sliced it up. So, and then I found someone that makes focaccia, and man, she nails the texture like you would not believe. And I've tried this. I'm impressed. So I actually made it into garlic bread. So fair warning, this is a little bit garlicky. These little focaccia breads, but they're all gluten-free, and the focaccia is vegan. And I think this one is vegan too, but I'm not absolutely positive. So.
Oh, I'll just stand up on my tiptoes. Okay. My husband of 45 years to the rescue. So this is actually considered a sweet bread. It's considered a bread, and it's Italian, and it's called panettone. And by the way, focaccia is pronounced focaccia, because we lived in Italy for 2 years. You said focaccia, the way it's spelled. I'm sorry. Anyway, so this is Italian sweetbread called panettone.
Hi, I'm Bill Dower, and as I approached 70, my doctor said, you need some blood tests, and they came back and said, oh, there's all these things you can't eat anymore. Well, you can eat them, but it would be better if you didn't. So there's whole aisles in the grocery store that have nothing for me now. It's kind of sad, but it's much better than the alternative, right? So what I brought is a bread that I was able to find. It's mostly barley flour, which doesn't have very much gluten in it, so you have to add all the gluten that they take out of your bread and stick it into. No, I know, but it's missing because it's not in your bread, it's in here instead. It's artificially glutenated. And I make it with olive oil in my little wood-fired oven in the backyard.
Hi, I'm Thomas. My bread is down here somewhere. It's deep-fried French toast. My mother was a Cajun, and she always made French toast deep-fried. I did not know what other people called French toast until I joined the Army. And she never used French bread. She always used leftover hamburger buns or hot dog buns. And so it's glad to bring it.
I'm Hella Hollebeck, and this is Bauernbrot, German rye. And I buy it at HEB, and I have ever since I came to Austin. And the wonderful thing about it is it tastes just like the kind of bread I grew up with. And if you're an immigrant, you probably know how it is difficult to get used to a different type of bread. So I'm very grateful. And one nice thing about it, I've now bought this there for 25 years, and the price has never changed.
What we're bringing is Chickasaw fry bread. Everybody knows that the first Thanksgiving that there were Indians, or the natives, and pilgrims. Well, the pilgrims were city and town people, and they were not well trained for living in the U.S. And the Indians tried to teach them how to farm and how to hunt, but it was actually not a shared experience for the most part, because the natives provided most of the food. And so this is made with a recipe from the Chickasaw Nation of Oklahoma. Just give it to one of the ladies there.
Hi, I'm Dan, and 45 years ago, when the kids were young and we were poor, I took some Pillsbury crescent rolls and I came up with a recipe for homemade cinnamon minis. And today I put a cream cheese icing on them.
Hi, I'm Tracy Norwood. Can you say your name? I grew up in New Orleans, and now when I go back home to see my family, my Mama says, what do you want from the grocery store? And I say, crusty French bread, and she says ham, if that rings a bell for anybody else. And so, yeah, and this is one of the breads that Willow can eat because she has an egg allergy, so.
I'm Mark, and in my family we had cornbread often, sweet cornbread. I find it better with pecans and honey, and possibly you will too.
Hello, I'm Amy, and while this is not from my heritage, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law were both artists and taught me the value in shopping local. So this comes from the farmer's market right here in Cedar Park. And it's rosemary garlic sourdough bread.
Hi, I'm Tracy Willis. My family has no bread tradition, so I just brought some Hawaiian rolls.
Hi, I'm Mary Dawson, and grew up in the South. We had cornbread at every meal, and my dad's favorite snack at night, which as children we couldn't understand, but we grew to love it too, was cornbread soaked in buttermilk. So I brought cornbread.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Finucci, and my heritage is English-Irish merged with German and Italian, and I think the Italian was just loudest, so culturally I think we're mostly Italian. I didn't bake this, so nobody tell my grandma, but I brought a garlic loaf.
Good morning. Name is Joe Costa. And I brought some Mexican sweetbread. My grandmother used to make it a lot. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us, so I had to buy this.
I'm Zizi White Salvin, and I made oatmeal banana bread. It's my great grandmother's recipe.
My name's Stephanie. I brought Bisquick drop biscuits. Bisquick, I remember my mom making biscuits in the morning for biscuits and gravy, but our favorite holiday tradition is sausage cheese balls, which requires Bisquick. And then another favorite, we would make barbecue cups where you take a biscuit and line the inside of a muffin tin, and then you fill barbecue in the center of the cups. And then after some baking, you sprinkle it with cheese. So there's a lot of good memories with our Bisquick.
I'm Linda McCullough, and I am not a native Texan. I am a native New Mexican. And I brought blue corn muffins that have piñons in them, and this was a year for piñons. So I roasted piñons, and you have piñons in your blue corn.
Hello, I'm Sue Buckley. I brought yeast dinner rolls. Probably 50 years ago, a neighbor whom I hardly knew lived upstairs, knocked on our door one Sunday, cold Minnesota Sunday, and handed us a batch of these rolls. And we had young children at the time, so it really was a treat to have fresh rolls. And I've been making these rolls for Thanksgiving and Christmas ever since.
I brought orange cranberry bread. I got this recipe at my bridal shower. It might have been a few years ago. I might have those, Harvest Gold mixing bowls. Anyway, that's what I've brought.
Hi, I'm Margie, and I think our bread at home was Wonder Bread, but we did better than that. This looks like French bread, but it's not, but we love the French, so we bought this. And what makes this special is we make our own homemade yogurt, and we have whey left over, so it has whey from our yogurt in it.
Hi, my name is Wayne Gregory. I wanted to bring white wholesome bread because that was my staple growing up. But Becky insisted we rely on our traditional corn muffins, so here we are.
My name is Melissa Zaratny. I brought sweet Hawaiian rolls. Ever since I discovered them when I lived in Hawaii, this is what we have every Thanksgiving.
My name is Luann Hoffman, and I brought part of the loaf of Mary Hengstebeck's homemade bread. When I first started attending, she welcomed me with a loaf of bread, and every quarter after teaching English to immigrants, she gives the teachers a loaf of bread. So ever since I started, I've been blessed with her bread, and I love it.
We have been blessed with such abundance. First of all, a huge round of applause for our volunteers up here. And cutters, I'm going to ask for y'all's advice here. Do you have enough room, or do we need to grab another table? Another table would be nice. Okay, Mike Schultz, are you, or yes, thank you. And Joel, will you help Mike with bringing in a table? You can put it right down here. Okay. We bless these loaves and this cider, symbolic of all that we have in common with one another and with all the people of this earth. These loaves were baked or purchased with love, abundant love, love that multiplies all that is around it. From time immemorial, the sign of friendship and welcome reception of strangers has been the breaking of bread and the shared cup. We offer you bread and cider from our common table. Would you please turn to the people on either side of you and say, I offer you the bread of community. Okay, please come forward, a couple of rows at a time. There are some plates down here. Take several pieces of bread, come down here and grab a cup of cider, return to your seat, and talk to the people around you. And as you take in the bread, the cider, and the conversation, also take into yourself the love of this community. We offer you the bread of community. It is so good to be together, to be nurtured, and to nurture others. Those of us who were here on Friday for our bonfire and s'mores, the thing that I kept hearing over and over and over again, along with, wow, those are huge marshmallows, they were, was, I just wanted to be together with my people. Even if this is your first time here, we are your people and you are ours, and it is good to be together. I invite you after the service, those who are not dashing away to faith development, which Mark is going to let you know what's going on with that. It may be starting a few minutes late. I invite you to come forward and continue eating the feast that is before us. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. So as Reverend Joanna said, immediately after this, there will be some faith development activities. In the coffee, there's coffee out there. If you get done with your juice, there's coffee out there. You can continue the conversations. At 11:15, there's kids' fellowship time in the child care room. Obviously, not at exactly 11:15, but you figured out. And the youth group, the older kids, the 12 to 18-year-olds, will be upstairs in room 209. And then finally, room 105, join UU Fellowship candidate Heather Makawi for Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda, offering ourselves grace. That is all I know about that, but it sounds like a fun time. All right. I now invite you to rise. Try not to spill your drinks or your bread as we extinguish our chalice. Rosie, would you be willing to come extinguish the chalice for us, please? Let us say these words to each other. We extinguish the flame here, that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide you until we are together again. It has truly been a gift to be together today. Please spend the next 5 minutes talking with someone you don't know. Members, be sure to introduce yourselves to any first-time visitors. They're the one with the written-on name tags. And show them where the visitors table. We've talked about it a lot today. It's out there in the Welcome Center. And then show them where the coffee and other snacks are. And may we all know the blessings of being together. Go in peace.